Hi, it's me, Jane, with Scraptastic Yarns podcast. Today I've been making scrubbies, and these guys are out of tulle. And this one, of course, is out of netting. I much prefer the tulle. It's easier on the hands. I know a lot of people like the ones with the netting because they're nice for pot scrubbing. Today is a gorgeous day outside. I kind of wish that I had some place I could sit outside and crochet for a bit, but nope, don't have anything there. We have some old crusty chairs out back, but I'd have to do too much cleaning to get those. They've got about probably 6 or 7 years of yuck on them. We used to have a deck where we lived at before, and we would always sit out in the chairs. They're just those plastic chairs, or what they call the resin chairs. So I don't think that they would hold up very well after the many years that they've sat outside. The area where we have back in our backyard faces neighbor's backyard. Not really very scenic. There isn't really a lot of shade. It's so small out there that you almost get claustrophobic just sitting there between you and the fence. You can sit in the chair and put your feet up and have your feet up on the fence. So I tend to shy away from that. Allergy season is in full bloom. I am medicated up, but as you can tell, still got a lot of sniffling going on and just a lot of head pain and everything with it. I love and hate this season, only because of that. Allergies. And my allergies didn't used to be so bad, but lately they just keep getting worse and worse and worse. So I don't know if that's has to do with age or what. But just carrying on. Yesterday I filmed a little bit with quilting. I'd gone up there to do some straight line quilting, and I think you'll find I'm gonna post my camera setup here. I have no clue where it's gonna land, but I'm gonna post that picture so you can see how silly my setup was. But sometimes you just gotta figure something out. My tripod is not very tall. It's very short. It's probably about maybe 9 inches. And I couldn't find the other tripod that I had gotten, which is a much taller one that I could have used and set it down between my legs, basically, to film. So that's what I did, and I used my phone. Don't have a fancy camera. Been looking at cameras, but just haven't seen anything that I really like yet. And we do have one camera that will film video, but of course there's no sound with it. Don't ask me why. I have no clue. It's a Pentex. I think it's Pentex? Pentonix? No. Pentonix is the singing group. Pentex camera. But no sound with the video, which I find kind of odd. I don't know if we ever had sound with it before or not, but it's kind of interesting. Today, after I get done with a few more of these, I'm going to start on a hat with those browns. I just haven't pinpointed a pattern yet that I like, so I'm still looking for patterns. I do have some bulky yarns that I wanted to use up their old stash. Back when Michaels first put Charisma out, and there was one point where they were changing, you know how they do, they changed their colors out, and it was clearanced. So I got a bunch of balls for like $1. Yeah, that was way back in the day. They don't give those good sales like that anymore. So, want to use it up. I have probably about 20 balls of it in different colors. One is called a forest, and I think the other ones are just some different shades of brown, dark brown. So I thought I'd make some hats and some scarves with that. And I did determine that I prefer working with the tool more than I do the netting. Netting is pretty rough on your hands, and kind of have to be careful with it because it tends to tear a little easier. Although they both tear, it's got to come out. Don't you hate that when you have to rip out? I've done a little bit more on my February lady. Not a whole lot. So I only do 2 rounds when I start these. And see, tears easy. And they generally make a round about not quite 4 inches. So, it's pretty good size. I make 2, and then I just basically put them back wrong sides together and do a slip stitch or a single crochet around. It's basically just starting out with a chain of 4. And the easiest thing that I've found is, instead of joining and working in the circle, generally just take and put 11 more double crochets into the 4th chain from the hook, the very first chain. And that seems to work okay. Cut my strips about 2 inches wide. When I work with tulle though, I do those 3 inches wide. And I found a lot of people use 6-inch wide. And yeah, they make real big and puffy, but I don't really like the way that looks. Do you know the difference between the two is one's more for pot scrubbing, the other one is more for exfoliating. The tool is used more for exfoliating. Can you hear that? Crunchy, crunchy, crunchy. And yeah, I could use some of that scrubby yarn that I think Lion Brand or maybe Red Heart has. But I don't like the feel of that on my skin either. That one's a little harder to use than this. And you have to buy so much of it to make scrubby. Although I do know a lot of people that just make little squares and use those. But they do not do as good a job as these little guys do. And I had a request for them. Someone prefers these. She said was telling me, asked me if I can make some, and I said, yeah, I can make some. And she said, the last couple that she found, she got at a craft sale. And she said they've lasted me about 3 or 4 years. She said I got a couple of them. I use them in the kitchen, scrub the pots, use them in the bathroom, scrub the sink and the bathtub with. And I thought, well, I've never used it in the bathroom. So, may have to decide to start using them in the bathroom. Didn't think about that with soap scum and all that. Tomorrow, like I said, I'm off to do the car for the inspection. I will try to get my normal podcast up before I go out, but I'm not real sure if I'll have enough time. And there I'll show you progress that I've done on everything I've got going, what I've got started again. And you'll get to see that brown napkin that I finished. Nothing spectacular, but it's done. So, I'm going to let you go. See you tomorrow. Hope everybody has a great day. Bye. Thought I'd better explain the 2 clips at the end are basically me cutting the netting and then also the actual quilting that I filmed. Hope you enjoy. Bye.
I want to do impression, and not just because my gal loves you, but because you guys impress the hell out of me. Kevin Costner was cut out of the big movie. 4 years later, he went on to star in The Untouchables with Connery, Garcia, and De Niro. Do you have Ron Howard's phone number in that fancy phone of yours? Yeah. No. Yeah, no. You call him and you tell him he has made a pretty woman-sized mistake. It's huge. All right, you thank him.
Thought I'd do a little straight line quilting today. Quilt. Hopefully you won't get too much from the camera. You'd laugh if you could see. It's a big crazy. And when I do this, I go completely off, cut my thread, turn it around, do the other side. I just choose a mark either with my quilting foot so that you can get these nice, and I'll go up and down, and then I'll go across sideways. And that's basically one of my favorite stitches because it's the easiest to do. You can use a 1/4 inch foot and go a 1/4 inch from the seams, and it looks real nice. And if you want to do some other stitching on the inside of the squares, you can. I probably won't today. So that's it.